Lizard science, plants, germination. Some vocabulary. Curious is when you wonder why about something. Evidence are clues that give you a little bit of information about something. Detail, the sometimes small parts that tell about a larger thing or idea. Germinate, to cause a seed to sprout. Bud looked gloomily into his empty food bowl. Maybe Miss Carmichael just forgot, he thought to himself. Soon the bearded dragon perked up as he heard footsteps outside his classrooms in the halls of Daisy Hill Preschool. Mr. Morgan was on his way to clean the room, and Bud had a question for him. The preschoolers had played in dirt all day, and Bud wanted to know why. Mr. Morgan, the kindly custodian, greeted Bud, but held up a finger as he went to clean the class bathroom. As he came out, Mr. Morgan pulled a feather duster from his cart and began to slide it across the blinds that came halfway down the windows next to Bud's tank. "Having a good night, Bud?" Mr. Morgan said with a slight grunt as he stretched to reach the top of the window. "It's okay, Mr. Morgan," began Bud, "but I'm hungry and, what's the word you taught me? Oh, I know. I'm curious." "I expect I can help you out with both of your troubles, my friend," comforted Mr. Morgan, and he reached into his cart for a moment. "You like grapes, right? I have a few right here, as well as a small slice of apple. Sound good?" "Oh, yes, Mr. Morgan. Thanks." As Mr. Morgan placed the treats in Bud's food bowl, Bud slowly clambered over and pulled on the apple slice. "Curious too, huh, Bud?" Mr. Morgan waited a moment and then saw Bud's sheepish smile. Can't talk with your mouth full, right?" Bud chewed in agreement. "You are a polite lizard." Mr. Morgan looked around the classroom. A few small bags of potting soil and stacks of cups were on the tables. I see evidence of some planting going on, Bud. Is that what you're curious about?" Bud swallowed and said, "Actually, Mr. Morgan, it's what the children put into the dirt that I don't understand. About a week ago, Miss Carmichael helped each one of them put these hard, shiny white beans into some bags. But today, those same beans came out all twisty with green parts. What happened to them?" He reached out for a bite of grape and settled in to hear what his friend would tell him. "You have an eye for detail, Bud," began Mr. Morgan. "Those children took some beans, limas, I expect, and got them ready to plant. Did Mrs. Carmichael put the beans away where you couldn't see them last week?" Bud nodded and gulped the juice from the grape. "Okay, then," said Mr. Morgan. "The children were germinating those beans so that they could grow in the soil. The beans are little baby plants. That apple you just ate had a few seeds in it. That's how more apple trees can grow." "So are they growing lima beans or apple trees, Mr. Morgan?" Bud asked. "Well, Bud, they will get lima bean plants from their lima beans. Do you know that there are people who grow all kinds of plants from all kinds of seeds? That apple, the grape you just swallowed, even the lettuce you like so much, they all had to be grown from a seed. Keep an eye on the cups that the children worked on today, Bud. You'll see something pretty amazing in just a few days." "Mr. Morgan, can I ask you one more thing?" Bud moved a little closer to the tank wall, looking up hopefully. "Sure, Bud. Ask away," smiled Mr. Morgan. "Do lima beans taste good?" Bud laughed with Mr. Morgan and returned to his food bowl to try another grape. This is the experiment that you can try at home. If you click on the videos related to this one, you will see my experiment at my house, and we can see how our beans germinate together. Thanks, guys.